This documentary about overcoming life's darkest moments isn't on Netflix, and that's exactly why you need to watch it. Look, I've been through my share of tough times, and I'm tired of watching feel-good fluff that barely scratches the surface. My Silver Lining documentary on lrodvinetwork.com is different. It's raw, real, and completely transformative. This isn't some glossy production designed to make you feel better for 30 minutes. It digs deep into what it actually takes to turn your pain into purpose. The storytelling is so powerful that mainstream platforms wouldn't touch it. But that's their loss and your gain. You get exclusive access to stories that will genuinely shift your perspective on adversity. I watched it 3 times because each viewing revealed something new about resilience. The convenience of streaming it on lrodvinetwork.com means you can pause, rewind, and really absorb these life-changing insights. Don't settle for surface-level inspiration when you can access something that actually moves the needle. Head to lrodvinetwork.com right now and discover the documentary everyone's missing.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Thirsty Topics. I'm Lawrence Elrod.
And I'm Meryl Climo.
Hey, Meryl, how are you today?
Hey, I'm so good.
It is a beautiful sunny day today.
It really is. I just got all my groceries for the week, so I'm feeling like a happy little mouse. And I per our conversation last week, I did not get the $3 chicken rice tortilla and something else.
You spent a little bit more than $3, huh?
Yeah, I spent definitely like somewhere between $3 and $300. So yeah, totally.
Well, something I want to start off with. Some people may feel it's cute. Some people may be offensive. But there was a Pee-wee ice hockey fight.
Oh, no.
Now, mind you, we're talking about players that are 8 and younger. So a viral Pee-wee BU hockey fight broke out during an intermission at a Hershey Bears minor league game in January 2026, where young players from the Central Penn Panthers brawled, leading to investigations by hockey officials for potentially staged behavior. Despite some crowd enthusiasm, though, the Atlantic Amateur Hockey Association, AAHA, launched an inquiry condemning the unsanctioned event and promising disciplinary action against involved players and officials, as the incident sparked debate about youth hockey, sports safety, and boundaries. Now, I actually saw the video, and I kind of agree that this was staged because the whole team went out and started brawling on the ice, and no one stopped them until I think the end of the bell or something. I don't really watch. I don't know all the terminology, but until I guess the session or whatever is over, but it seemed like it was staged because even the way they were fighting, to me, is not the way kids would fight.
Yeah, I agree. It almost seemed like it was like choreographed. I watched it too.
You watched it too. Didn't it seem like this doesn't seem real for eight?
No. I feel like kids like fight more like, I don't know, it's not as like scripted, or it just doesn't seem as like yeah. I mean, also I feel like kids would cry or be more like, I mean, I hate to say it, but they'd pull more hair and be more feral and everything.
Oh, exactly. And the other thing too is when the whole team jumps out on the ice, so no adult, no coach, no officials, nobody stepped in.
Yeah. I definitely think too that like more people would step in, and but I wonder like what the end goal is, just to get more attention on the team, or like why they would I mean, I guess more publicity would help.
I think they wanted that viral moment on the internet, but I think there's a dangerous element to this, is that you may be teaching some of those players that this behavior is acceptable, which is not.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Even if you watch professional hockey players, yeah, brawls do break out, but the brawls last maybe a minute or two, and at that point, the refs step in and break it up. They're not going to let entire teams jump out on the ice. That would immediately be stopped. So this is not even based in reality how real professional hockey players actually play.
Exactly. And I feel like it gets people excited thinking that if they go to a game, no matter they're like, they want a fight to break out. Well, I mean, like every hockey game that I have gone to, which isn't a lot, but like there is some element of like a shove or, there's some type of drama that has happened at every hockey game I've been to, but not a full on brawl, but like like someone checks each other on the ice or whatever. And I think that's just part of the game. But I do think that it's, you're right, just trying to drum up more publicity.
Yeah, and you make a great point too. When adults do this, their mindset is much different than a child's mindset. So
Yeah.
they understand that, okay, this is part of what they do. They get paid to do this on the ice. They know that in real life outside of the arena, you can't do that because, there's this thing called jail and arrest. You just can't go out there and just fight people.
Yep, exactly. So I think, I don't know, would this make you like, if you were younger, would this entice you to go see a game or not really?
Not really, because
No.
it was too much over the top. Now, again, I'm no fool. I know that even in youth sports, sometimes tempers can get a little heated. They get all that too, but it was really, if anyone ever watched the video, I encourage you to watch it. It was way over the top.
Yeah. It almost feels like, during halftime, sometimes they'll script out like like someone beating a mascot, like someone cheated on me, or like, I don't know, this feels like a telenovela of like how they have between games.
That's exactly what it felt like. Because even the players, when they were fighting, some of them, you watching them, they're almost like, oh yeah, I got to do this.
Yeah. Almost WWE style. Yeah. Well, I think that's very silly. Well, someone that I feel like maybe could be in a fight is that Ruby Tuesdays is in hot water lately because a Michigan man who worked for 19 years got fired after a shift on Christmas Day after he never missed a day of work. And so people are really upset about this. After 19 years of loyally working at Ruby Tuesday, a man from Michigan had the experience of being let go from his job following Christmas Day. The restaurant unceremoniously ended his employment, and devastated, he took to TikTok. His name is Jeff Cook, recounting what happened and why he was let go during the holiday. This video now reached 4 million views. He later had to get another job as a server, something that stung. Obviously, he had tangible managerial skills, and people were really upset. Ruby Tuesdays really didn't have like a full-on reason. I think, he worked Christmas Day, and then the Ruby Tuesdays team just pretty much said like, thanks, I think we're done here. And he even left in a classy way. He wasn't that upset, but like the internet was obviously upset. And as of now, like, I don't really see any public comment on it. I just think this is one of those reasons that like, don't give all of your time and all of yourself to a job, because sometimes it is thankless. And, like, if you're working at a place that threatens to fire you if you don't work on Christmas Day, like that just, unfortunately, many people don't have the choice, but like you can still find a different chain restaurant or something to still work at and have your manager skills. I know last week we talked about like, in Hollywood, not being upset if not having to work with someone that's treating you horribly. I still feel this way too. I feel like there's other restaurants, there's other places, like, you shouldn't be at a place where you're having to feel bad for working every day.
Oh, exactly. And the other thing, which is sad, but I say this all the time, unless you own the company, you could be the greatest worker on earth. You can always be fired.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a sad reality. And the thing is that, are there some great jobs out there that treat their people well? Of course there are. But there's a huge chunk of them that, basically treat their workers like shit. I mean, that's just reality.
Yeah.
And, it's like they just chew you up and spit you out like you're just a number. And, sometimes people kind of know this, but they ignore the signs. And at the end of the day, you're just a number to them. It's just say. And especially when you work in the food service industry, to me, I tip my hat off because that's a tough industry for anybody to work in. with everything you got to put up with. If you're working for an a-hole, you shouldn't be there. Just there's so many options within into the food industry or the restaurant industry that you can just go someplace else. Don't put up with no nonsense. This is not that serious.
Exactly. And this is where it's good. Like, I'm glad he went online and made a video because I think it is good to put yourself out there and let people know like you are looking for a job. And if I was someone that was a hiring manager and I saw this person, like, okay, he cares enough about his job that he's like sad and making a video, and he worked Christmas Day. And even if he didn't have like the skill I was looking for, it's like if you're like a good boss, this is exactly the kind of person you want to hire. So, even it might not be the industry, he might work at like a hotel or a wine place or something, but if you're like a smart manager, this is the kind of person that you hire. And you can just like, I feel like we can all learn different skills, but it takes someone special to like give up and working on Christmas and just, like it's a good skill to have.
I agree. I tip my hat off for him keeping us cool and being professional about it because, a lot of people, probably wouldn't have been that nice about the situation, to put it mildly.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They would probably expose like what goes on in the Ruby Tuesdays kitchen and everything. And yeah, which on Reddit, a lot of people do. A lot of people are like, hey, I used to work for Chili's and this is exactly the recipe that like goes into this, or, like they spill the secrets.
This documentary about overcoming life's darkest moments isn't on Netflix, and that's exactly why you need to watch it. Look, I've been through my share of tough times, and I'm tired of watching feel-good fluff that barely scratches the surface. My Silver Lining documentary on LRAWTVNetwork.com is different. It's raw, real, and completely transformative. This isn't some glossy production designed to make you feel better for 30 minutes. It digs deep into what it actually takes to turn your pain into purpose. The storytelling is so powerful that mainstream platforms wouldn't touch it. But that's their loss and your gain. You get exclusive access to stories that will genuinely shift your perspective on adversity. I watched it 3 times because each viewing revealed something new about resilience. The convenience of streaming it on LRAWTVNetwork.com means you can pause, rewind, and really absorb these life-changing insights. Don't settle for surface-level inspiration when you can access something that actually moves the needle. Head to LRAWTVNetwork.com right now and discover the documentary everyone's missing.
That's true. So yeah, that could backfire on the businesses too.
Exactly. So yeah, it just goes to show, of course, we want to be good employees wherever we are, but I just like, I'll never feel bad about taking a vacation or like we deserve days off, and just remember that it's just a job. And like, although we all need jobs and everything, it's just, you shouldn't be made to feel like you're just worthless or like a robot.
I agree. Well, talk about celebration. There is this obsession with the year 2016.
Yes.
So there is a significant cultural nostalgia and obsession with the year 2016, especially in early 2026. Don't know how that particular year, but that's okay. Driven by a collective longing for a perceived last normal year before global upheaval, a simpler internet, Vine, Snapchat, and pre-pandemic innocence, all amplified by clinical nostalgia and social media trends featuring 2016 aesthetics and music. So basically what they're saying is that many view 2016 as the final moment before major world events, the pandemic, increased political division, AI, fundamentally changed life, making it feel more carefree and less complicated. To put it in layman's terms, before we went fucking nuts. So,
Yeah.
so basically, a lot of people feel that they had an era where memorable music like Drake's One Dance, Closer, pop culture events like Beyonce's Lemonade, Pokemon Go, Damn Daniel, and fashion, tight jeans, bomber jackets, that people fondly remember. What do you think? How do you feel about 2016?
Oh my gosh. I look back and I'm like, that was definitely one of the best years ever. Like in terms of friends,
Mhm.
like travel, jobs. I was like way skinny back then. Like it's so funny to like every single thing was good. And I think I did. I mean, of course, we didn't know it was about to come, but I like had fun. And I agree. I really think like for me, I feel like I had a very nice life, like right, and I still do, obviously, but like the pandemic really did shift things, and I feel like we're all in some weird, like, there's still beauty out there and everything, but I feel like between everything being so expensive and like no longer being able really to afford like housing and just all this kind of stuff, like it feels like our core has been shaken since pandemic. And I know for me too, like COVID was weird for many different reasons. Like, everyone being upset one way or another about like the vaccine and masks. And I feel like for the first time, I really felt like just genuinely upset about a lot of things. And so I think 2016 was amazing. And I do feel like our phones, while they're beautiful, like has caused a lot of attention span issues and just like timing issues. So I really think about how we can go back to a little bit simpler, whether that's just not being on our phone so much or like not scrolling as much. But I love 2016.
Yeah, I think it kind of represents, because in fact, I remember during the pandemic, my son was in high school, so they did um, learning from home. They were on Zoom, stuff like that. And after the pandemic was over, they went back to school full time. You know, it seemed like everything changed.
Yeah,
The students were, so mostly younger students, but the students they were, destroying the bathrooms. They were getting into fights. I mean, it was a noticeable, crazy difference, and it was kind of sad. And you know, I was kind of glad that my son was getting ready to get out of high school because it really changed overnight. And I think as adults, we sometimes forget your children are watching you at all times, even if they don't say anything. Your horrible behavior, where you're figuring, "Well, I'm an adult, I could do and say what," that's true to a certain extent, but you're also teaching these bad behaviors to your children. And the thing is that now you're transferring all this negativity, hate, and all this other nonsense to a new generation. And that's not
right.
going to better, it makes things worse.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. And I think we all just need to be kinder to each other. In 2016, we weren't all like judging every single thing that everyone said and just like canceling each other left and right on both sides. And so I think it's just a myriad of different things. But yeah, I agree. 2016 seemed fun and just the right amount of technology. Cause like I love being able to text friends and text everything, but it doesn't seem like we're being like monitored 24/7. It just seems like too much. Like I'm not having fun being contacted every minute from like random friends. And it seems like it's all like a little bit not exciting. It's a lot to keep up with.
Oh, yeah. And, the other sad part too is in this new social media age, one of the things that kids and young adults are missing now is the human connection, because everything is done online. And like to me, and
Yeah,
I've said this before, I, you know, I mean, cyberbullying is a real thing. Can I be really cyberbullied? Probably not, because to me, it's like you're a punk hiding behind a keyboard. You want to be you want to be tell me something. Come to my face and tell me. Now, of course, I'm going to tell you about yourself as well. But, everyone hide
yeah.
behind a keyboard. I'm like, wow, okay, you got a lot to say behind that keyboard. Won't you come say to that person's face? It's just amazing, you know.
Exactly. I think a lot of people are feeling like low. I don't want to say like I'm not, but I think just judging from like talking to my friends and stuff, I think a lot of people are feeling lonely and lost. So like even if they have somewhat younger kids or if they're like not quite sure what they're going to do with their life anymore. I know here it's obviously like living in California 2016, like LA was so much fun and it just was very sparkly and cool. And then now it just feels like so weird between just a lot of issues. Kind of the whole city feels kind of like dirty and weird. And so I'm hoping that will change, but just a lot of things feels like it was special and now it's just a weird twisting of things. But
Hey, Merrill, do you think we'll ever go back to that time of innocence that we had back in 2016?
I don't think we'll have innocence, but I really do believe that we still. Maybe it's like so foolish, but I do believe we'll have some type of like golden age and everything. And so I think we will hit a tipping point where we just decide, like, as a human consciousness, like to be a little bit nicer to each other and just have more fun and not take things so seriously. Um, but it's hard to do that when people are struggling just to make their basic needs because that's going to make people irritable and fearful and everything.
That's so true. That is so, so true. But I guess I'm an optimist that, at some point this nonsense has got to stop, right?
Exactly. But I'm really trying to like I've even seen it on TikTok, people saying that they want to live a more like 1990s life. And I think we can all do that in little ways where like I wrote this down on my like to-do list, but to swap out my morning like scrolling with a newspaper or like making
Mhm.
little changes here and there, whether that's like having a phone that you go out with that's just like for to calling and it's not an iPhone, just to every now and then. So I think we're all going to find little ways to just go back to that because like I agree, like the way that I'm living now is not very set. It's like not satisfying, and it kind of feels like weird. I just feel like I'm like responding to things rather than being intentional. So I think everyone is feeling like they need to change stuff.
I agree with you. I agree. But like I said, I feel optimistic that things are going to change. They got to change because we can't keep going in the direction we're going now.
Exactly. But it's also so funny too because I noticed in 2016, like so many of us were so skinny, and I was like, was it a better time or was I just like way skinnier? Not to be toxic, but I'm like, it's also weird reflecting back when I'm like, okay, those of us who I'm sure there's many of us that have gained weight since 2016, and it's like a weird feeling to look back and be like, am I nostalgic or was I just like a size 4? So yeah. Well, something that I think is good in 2026 is that we're finding out that more and more dogs are able to expand their vocabulary by listening to their owners. A new study found that a small group of exceptionally skilled dogs, known as gifted word learner dogs, can learn the names of new toys simply by overhearing their owners talk about them without direct teaching. In tests, 7 out of 10 dogs of these types of dogs successfully retrieve specific toys after listening to a conversation about the toy's name. This ability, previously seen in humans and a few other animals, suggests these dogs can form word object associations just by eavesdropping on human speech.
Wow. I believe it's
Yeah,
true. I believe it's true.
me too. Do you have any dogs? I forget.
Yes, I have a little dog myself, and it's interesting. Like he loves chicken. Okay, so when I'm getting him chicken, I'll say, "Hey, since you want some chicken," he gets real excited or whatever. And I know when me and my wife talk about, "Hey, is there any chicken for him?" We'll use, is there any C for him? We don't even say the full word because he recognizes the word, and he'll come running down.
Really?
Excited. Yes. So that is a
Oh,
real
that's
thing.
funny. Yeah. See, it's funny because we have almost a study going on in our house. We have 2 dogs that were Jack's dogs before we met, and I'm not like I like one of them a lot, but one of them is like a dachshund and really smart, and I feel like we could just talk and say his name normally and everything, and he would know. And then the other
Mhm.
one, we could literally say like anything we want to directly, and I don't think he'd catch on. So it is a funny thing.
But then again, he could be ignoring you too.
Exactly, selective hearing.
Oh yeah. And what's funny is that dogs are like people in a lot more ways than you think. So like if your dog is angry at you, they may not bark or anything, but what they'll do is they'll probably go into a certain section of the house. They'll fake like they don't hear you talking. You can yell and scream
Oh
their name,
yeah,
but then when you call out their favorite toy or their favorite meal, they come racing out to you. So yeah, they know what they're doing.
yeah. And like that must be so weird for dogs, like eavesdropping of just hearing things like blah 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 blah. Like we all sound like Charlie Brown, like the teacher or whatever. And that's just so weird. I think to like it must be so weird to just constantly hear things that you're not even sure of.
That's true, but it's amazing how dogs are smarter than we think they are. In fact, I remember one dog that I had years ago. He passed away since then. But I had a dog. He was a big dog, and when he was a puppy, we had him in a crate until he was house. We was crate training him, and then when our dogs learn how housebroken, they don't use crates anymore. They just have to run of the house. But what he
Oh,
did,
yeah.
he used his teeth and he figured out how to unlock the cage and open the door. And
Whoa.
we came home, and he was just laying there, laying on top of the clothes. I'm like, wow, look at this.
Oh,
He's like, hello.
oh my gosh. See, they know. I think that you're right. Where they're smart when they want to be.
Yes. In fact, remember we talked about it last week about one dog that let himself out of the shelter.
Yeah. Which I think he should be rewarded immediately with the family.
You know what? I would love to know if that dog was adopted, because I'm quite sure after that story, a lot of people probably were like, "Hey, what? That would be a great dog to have."
I know. Yeah, I hope so. But yeah, so just know if you're talking on the phone or to someone else, that just know your dog is listening and maybe learning.
That is so true. That is so true. Well, let's see. This is a very interesting topic here. My last topic for this show is um, union backs Ford auto worker TJ Sabula, a Trump heckler, amid suspension. Now, did you hear about this story, Meryl?
No.
Well, this is very interesting because um, Trump, I guess, was visiting a Ford auto plant, and a person yelled out, um, "Pedophile protector," and Trump,
Oh,
which it should shock people, but it really didn't shock people. Well, Trump
of
yelled
course.
back at him, "Fuck you, fuck you," and then
Oh,
gave him the finger.
oh my God. There's just like no decorum like on it on anything.
Now, mind you, this was on major news channels. This isn't, I mean, of course, it hit the social media, but this was a real story because some people are probably going to listen like, no, Trump didn't do it. Yeah, he did that. Yeah, yeah, that really did happen.
Oh my God.
So, to give you a little bit of backstory in this, um, United Auto Workers Vice President Laura Dickerson says that the union's main priority is how to best represent its members and ensure that one of them keeps their job after an incident with President Trump. So on Tuesday, a video shared by TMZ, it's amazing how they get these videos, showed Mr. Trump flipping off the worker, TJ Sabula, after he heckled the president during his visit to the Ford plant in Dearborn. Sabula yelled, "Pedophile protector," at the president, according to TMZ, to which Mr. Trump appeared to throw up the middle finger and said, "Fuck you." Sabula declined an interview on Wednesday and couldn't be reached on Thursday. When CBS News Detroit briefly talked with him earlier this week, he said that he would be willing to discuss the experience if and when he knows his job is secure. Dickerson confirmed that Sabula is currently suspended with pay while Ford and the UAW discuss next steps. He has rights. We want to make sure contractually and constitutionally that his rights are being met, said Dickerson. We're still just having discussions in regards to making sure that we represent TJ and as a member fully. Now, to me, it is kind of funny that he did this and all that happened, but I think we're in a danger zone where you can't criticize an official without worrying about losing your job. I
Right.
commend I commend the union for stepping up, saying, "Hey, we're going to protect our worker here." I mean, the UAW is like one of the most
agree.
powerful unions in the country. So, um, yeah, I mean, it's going to be kind of hard for the administration to bully that union. So, I mean, what do you think about all this, Mel?
Yeah. I mean, of course, there's I mean, it's the funny thing is, like, I don't want to say like it's true, but I mean, he is yelling stuff that like pretty much like that's what the whole files like are showing that it's pretty much, you know, he's not just making stuff up and yelling it. He's calling it what it is, you know, one way or another, maybe not as much, but I think it's good that he's protected. And I think people, like, obviously, if you say something, you shouldn't be immediately losing your job, losing like all your funds and everything just because you yell something. I do think, of course, like other presidents would just ignore it or not hear them. But of course, like if you antagonize Trump, you're going to get something back from it. So I don't know. It's not my dream world to like have people yell anything at any president. I would rather just like not be around him than just ignore it completely and not have him in my life. But like, I think if you're going to be in the vicinity of able to yell something, I feel like a lot of us are so frustrated that I get where this comes from, and I'm glad he'll be protected.
Yeah, I do, and I think we're in a dangerous situation right now that this is even a conversation because
Yeah.
it's like this. Trump is not the first president to be criticized by voters or criticized in public. This has been happening for eons. This is nothing new.
Right.
I remember when Obama was doing the speech and he was heckled. Okay. He didn't have to come after him or anything like that. In fact, I remember when Bush, Bush Jr., when Bush was somewhere, I forgot where he was at, and a guy took off his boot and threw it at him. Remember that?
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
So, like I said, this is nothing new about being criticized, but you know, to have him suspended, I mean, he didn't threaten him or anything over the top. He just, he just voiced his opinion.
Exactly.
And I think it's kind of dangerous that you have to be worried about your job and your safety by just voicing your opinion.
I know, and I guess I'm always on the team of like we have to be real and fair, where it's like, okay, on the flip side, if someone yelled something at Biden, we have to be okay with that. If like both, I'm always like, okay, would this work for the flip side of the situation? Or if someone yelled something at like Nancy Pelosi or something, am I being hypocritical and am I not? And I could say like, no, if someone yells something that is like true-ish, and then I think it's okay. And it's just everyone expressing themselves, which I think is fine. As long as you're not like actively hurting anyone or like being truly violent, I think I'm okay with it.
Well, yeah. And actually, what I like about what you said, Meryl, you make a great point. It's like, even if it's a politician you like, you have a right to not like what a person says about them. That's okay. But to me, you cross a different type of line when it's like, oh, okay, we're going to go after your job. We're going to go after your company, and we're going to punish them for what you said. We're in a different whole world when you start doing things like that.
Yep.
So hopefully everything works out. He keeps his job. And like I said, we do have a thing called freedom of speech in this country. As long as you're not threatening people or threatening to harm anyone, as long as it's not hate speech or anything like that, you're not crossing any of those lines. He's free to say whatever he wants,
Yeah. Yep. A lot of people are probably like, heck yeah. But of course, that the Trump people are probably like loving that he's giving him the finger. And I mean, that's what people like about him, is that he is feisty and he will say F you back and, give the middle finger. That's what people like, because he's not like other presidents, but it's gotten crazy.
Amen to that.
Well, all of that makes me excited about, even though it's just a satirical thing, there's been a Danish petition to buy California from Trump, signed by thousands. And so I haven't signed this petition yet, but I'm 100% someone that I would love to like be owned by Denmark or whatever. So a satirical petition calling on Denmark to buy California has surged past 200,000 signatures as an apparent response to the Trump administration renewing calls for the U.S. to acquire Greenland. Who knows by the time this comes out what will happen, because it seems like every day there's a new clown story about Greenland and us trying to take them over. However, on the flip side, I would be honored to be in a Danish country, and I feel like I just love like the Danish way of life. Just seems like it honors like nature a lot more and animals and folklore. And I just like I haven't been to Denmark yet, or like even Norway or Switzerland or any those kind of places. But like I really feel like what I know of the culture, I could just imagine I love it. And I feel like sign me up. I'm ready.
So you would be open to being in a different country?
100%. I'm interested in us being owned by Canada. I'm interested in us being owned by Denmark. I'm like very. It just seems like Danish people are like very like have nice manners and they just keep to themselves. And I'm sure, of course, like any country, there's its ups and downs. But like I don't know, I've always had like really high regard for Danish countries and just really been interested in it a lot. So it's definitely on my list to visit. But like I feel like the way that they eat and the way that they like think about life and everything, I've just been always really drawn to. So I mean, at this point, I'm open for like, could Japan own us? Like, give me a list and I'll say yes to it. So yeah.
Now, the crazy thing about this whole conversation, if it was any other president, this would be a non-starter, not even a conversation. But the crazy thing is that, if there's something in it for them, Trump may consider this. It's a reality. Not to say
Yeah,
it would,
exactly.
he could seriously consider it.
Exactly. No, like, yeah. If anyone is in the United States and like looking for that, like to learn more, I went to a place called Door County, Wisconsin, and it was the cutest. Like, it has a lot of like Danish folklore and Scandinavian things, and it has that. I forget how you pronounce it. If it's like Hygie or Hygie, it's like Hygee, but it's supposed to be like that way of living where you welcome people and you like have a reverence for nature. And just even when I was there, like the cute little things that people were eating, and it's all about like artists and everything, I just was like obsessed. And so I feel like I want to welcome that. I feel like California, we need help. It's like in a lot of ways it's kind of falling apart, but it's like obviously so beautiful here that we just need like a resurgence. Because I don't know, for how beautiful and like amazing California is, it just feels like weird in Los Angeles and even parts of San Diego and obviously San Francisco. So to have a beautiful land so shitty in many ways, we need the help of the Danish.
Yeah, I definitely see your point on that. I mean, because I know there was another state that talked about possibly making itself its own country from the United States. I want to say it was Texas, but I'm not 100% sure. So this is not the first time that conversation has come up, but I don't
I
know.
love that 200,000 people voted on the petition too.
Now, those 200,000 people, were they Californians that signed it?
I think not all of them. I think most of them, but not everyone.
Oh, okay.
There's also been talk from I mean, of course, this is just a joke too, but like California, Seattle, Oregon, like being part of Canada, and all of us are like, heck yes.
Yeah.
A girl can dream.
These are some interesting times right now.
Exactly. Not that like I do love, in theory, I love America and the United States. Like I'm not anti that at all, but it's just like I don't know. I'm so interested about like the Danish way of living that I don't know. I'm ready to sign it. Ready to be part of the petition.
We'll see if something comes out of this.
100%.
Well, talk about interesting things. What do you have coming up, Meryl?
Well, I have a lot of shows coming up. One of them is on. Oh, you know what? Okay, I'm going to plug one. If you don't have Valentine's Day plans, don't be upset because I'm doing a show at a place called the Gold Rail in Glendale. It's kind of like a bar, but it will be really fun on February 14th. So if you're single and like around the Los Angeles area and just looking to laugh and looking to have fun, and maybe you don't have a date, you can come out, and the comedians on that show too are really nice, and so I think it will be a funny one, and we'll probably all be doing a lot of like relationship material. So that's February 14th at the Gold Rail in Glendale, and it's free, which is wonderful too.
Nice. I love that price.
Exactly. We love Valentine's Day when it's free. Or you could bring a date and try to impress them too.
There you go. There you go. Well, if you're in the area, definitely make sure you come out and see Meryl and impress your date. Bring them by.
Exactly. If you're on a date, let me know and I'll like make you look pretty good.
There you go. Well, everyone, we had such a great time. We always appreciate your support. We appreciate you watching us, listening to us, commenting on our social media platforms. Please continue to support us and let people know who we are and how to follow us. I'm Lawrence Elrod.
I'm Meryl Climo.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
This documentary about overcoming life's darkest moments isn't on Netflix, and that's exactly why you need to watch it. Look, I've been through my share of tough times, and I'm tired of watching feel-good fluff that barely scratches the surface. My Silver Lining documentary on elrodthenetwork.com is different. It's raw, real, and completely transformative. This isn't some glossy production designed to make you feel better for 30 minutes. It digs deep into what it actually takes to turn your pain into purpose. The storytelling is so powerful that mainstream platforms wouldn't touch it. But that's their loss and your gain. You get exclusive access to stories that will genuinely shift your perspective on adversity. I watched it 3 times because each viewing revealed something new about resilience. The convenience of streaming it on elrodthenetwork.com means you can pause, rewind, and really absorb these life-changing insights. Don't settle for surface-level inspiration when you can access something that actually moves the needle. Head to elrodthenetwork.com right now and discover the documentary everyone's missing.